Hello and welcome to Renew Yourself with Karma Cleanse Live. My name is Katja Rosanen and today I have a very special guest for you. Her name is Emma Bradford, who I met 5 years ago in Barcelona, Spain. And Emma is trained in NLP, hypnotherapy, natural nutrition, and life energetics. She helps individuals to boost their self-esteem and create more loving relationship with themselves and or with food. So you are here for a treat today. If you want to have more tips about self-care, and that's for you coming. So stay tuned. Welcome, Emma, and welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, and so happy you said yes for this interview because I think you have some very valuable tips to share. So first, could you tell more what you do in your own words?
Yeah, exactly. So I empower women and I empower them in helping them to manage their emotions and manage their inner critic and all of the beliefs, the self-doubts and the everything that they feel about themselves. I help empower them and boost their self-esteem with that. So sometimes I have women coming to me with food-related issues. So food cravings, or they have body image issues. They feel bad about how they feel in their body. So then I work with them in boosting their self-esteem on that and helping them to accept them as they are right now. So using NLP, hypnotherapy, and my experience in food energetics in helping empower women to feel great.
Fantastic. I love that. And was there a special event that led you to this path?
So it all started with NLP. So I was at a point in my life many years ago in London where I was coming to the end of a relationship. I was in a career that didn't fulfill me at all, and I was going through many changes, and I decided to pack everything up and move to Barcelona. And I originally said that I'd go to Barcelona for 6 months just to have a break for me, and I never left. I'm still here, like more than 5 years later. So yeah, in that first year when I was in Barcelona, I was going to study Spanish and I didn't have a job. And that was when I thought about studying NLP because I was in a point in my life where I was going through many changes. That was new career, wanting to start a new career, new country, new language, new everything. So I chose the NLP training as a self-awareness course for myself. And then halfway through it, I actually thought, I love this, I could do this as a career, and it just picked up in there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Your light is and so much needed here. And when you shared about the work that you do, what jumped out for me is helping people to take care of ourselves. So why are we lacking self-care? Why your work is needed? Why can't we take care of ourselves?
It's a good question, and it's something that is so common and something that I struggled with a lot, and there are days I still struggle as well. It's a constant balancing act and reminding ourselves that we do deserve it, and it's because like when we're growing up, quite often we take on limiting beliefs and fears. Through past experiences and what we hear other people saying to us, and also through modeling adults and other people in our life, we model their behaviour and we pick up on limiting beliefs and believing that we're not worthy, that we're not worthy of feeling great and enjoying life and caring for ourselves. And sometimes the belief of feeling that it's selfish as well, so it's selfish to do so, selfish to put our needs before others, and that can play a big factor as well.
Yeah, and I think especially with families, if you have children, it kind of feels like, I have heard many times, like it feels selfish to put yourself first and take care of you. But there is this beautiful, which I use the metaphor from the airplanes, that you have to put the air mask first for yourself, and then help others, because otherwise you can't help others if you are not taking care of you.
Otherwise, you're just an empty vessel that you just like, we need to fill ourselves up with the love and care, and then we have lots and lots of love and light to shine out to other people as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so if someone has struggled for years with self-care, and something that you said about these cravings, like if there is something you crave for, something that is not, certain level that it's not good for you, but it's such a deep craving that you go for it. And I can say myself, like I was in Australia for 3 months. Yeah, I felt a little bit lonely there in the beginning. So I was eating things that I knew that were not good for me, like ice cream or chips. And like when I bought it, I was always having this struggle, but then the craving won. So how would you start empowering people to overcome these cravings and struggles with self-care? What would be the first step that people who are listening and watching us now could take?
Yeah, the first step is awareness, like finding out and understanding what's going on, what the deeper meaning is there, like why we're doing that behavior.
Yeah.
So, I've done a few workshops on food cravings, and I found that with the work with my clients and also through personal experience as well, that there are 3 hidden emotional desires behind food cravings. So quite often when we feel lonely, or we feel anxious, or we feel bored, those quite often are the 3 key areas when we start reaching for comfort food. We reach for particular foods that remind us of a particular time in our childhood, or give us that feeling that we're looking for. We're really searching for that feeling. And that's where NLP comes in, because then we can use certain techniques in NLP to generate that feeling, that emotion, without having to use the food. The very first thing is awareness, like finding out, okay, what's going on? Having that curious mindset, like quite often I say in my classes and workshops, to have the mindset of a child, like they're always asking, but why, like why is this, why is the sky blue? And so having that mindset and adopting that mindset is wonderful, because then we can ask ourselves, okay, what's really going on here? What's the bigger picture?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like I love the mindset of a child. Like why? Because they ask trillions of questions and like, like why this, why that? So that's wonderful. But then there is another thing that what our mind can do, and maybe this will help when we start questioning things. But there is the part of, at least I have that part, that is inner critic, that sometimes if I had the craving and then I ate something, it's so harsh. Like I have started to learn how to be more gentle with myself, but it was very harsh, and sometimes it still has its moments when it comes back, like the inner critic. And then when I started taking steps towards healthier lifestyle, it was there like criticizing those steps too, like what are you thinking, like go back to normal, like it won't work this time either, last time you gave up after 2 months, so how do you think it works this time? So what can you do other than silencing, how can you silence this inner critic or make it more gentle? Other than contacting you, would you have a tip on this area as well.
Yeah, so the inner critic is something I've talked about a lot, and I've done many workshops like here in Barcelona and also in the UK specifically on the inner critic. And basically, the inner critic is our fearful part, the part that has all the fears and doubts and that wants to keep us within our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I often see the inner critic as a challenge, as a test, like in its own funny way, in its own particular language that it uses, is testing us and saying, are you going to listen to everything that I'm going to say to you, or are you going to continue and do what you love regardless?
Yeah.
So it's giving us a choice, and quite often what we do is we listen to it and believe it and act on what it says. But what we need to do is we need to listen to it, learn from it, and then act according to what we love in life, regardless of what it says.
Yeah.
So I call it the 3 L's. So listen, learn, and love.
Yeah.
And those are the 3 things that can really help to manage the inner critic. And it's not to say that we'll be able to completely switch it off. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but personally I believe as long as we're a human being and we're constantly moving out of our comfort zone, that part will always be there, testing us and challenging us and teaching us. However, there are these tools and techniques that can help us manage it and remind us that it's not all of that. There's so much more than that. There's so much more than the fearful part.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good to hear again, like that. We are not that part and we can choose who we listen. And that's the key there. Like, are you listening and giving power to that voice who is criticizing you all the time, or are you just doing things anyway? And I think there was a quote from Louise Hay, she said like something along the lines like, you have been listening to inner critic for years and it hasn't really worked, so how about if you try something different now? So that could be interesting to start changing if you are listening to the inner critic. So just wondering, how would it feel like if you start listening to the other voice, like who wants to take care of you?
Yeah, it's choosing, it's making that conscious choice of choosing who you want to believe. Because it's absolutely fine to listen and notice and learn from the inner critic. It's just, we don't have to believe it. We don't have to believe everything it says, because it's just wanting to keep us within the comfort zone. It just wants to keep us safely tucked in this little box. And if we have goals and desired outcomes and new experiences that we want to bring into our life, then we need to move out of that comfort zone. So therefore we need to not believe everything the inner critic tells us.
Yeah, I agree on that. So would you have, when we hear this inner critic's voice in our head, would you have a special affirmation or a message that we could use when we are in that moment to support us? Do you have something on that?
Yeah, I mean there's a few things. Well, actually, there's many things, but for the sake of this interview, I'll give you a couple of pointers. So first of all, noticing that if we hear that voice, is recognizing that we are not that voice. We're not solely that voice. So sometimes we say, it comes out with a limiting belief like, I am ugly or I am stupid. What we can do is we can just rephrase that. So once we're aware, we can rephrase that and say, oh, my inner critic thinks I'm ugly. Oh, my inner critic thinks I'm stupid. And that adds a little bit of distance, helps us to detach from it and realize that we are not that. That voice is so much more than that.
Yeah.
And quite often also what we can do is that when we hear that voice saying, I am ugly or I am stupid or I am whatever it tells us, we can question that and ask ourselves, is that all that I think I am? Aren't I more than that? What am I that's not ugly? And that's a very quick way to shift the focus and start searching for evidence in our life and qualities about ourselves that are positive. So that's something that can be really useful.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good step and easy to do as well when we start. If we set our intention to start, actually it can be like a game, like let me hear, when I hear the inner critic speak, I will try now to there are new rules in this game, like let's games.
And I've heard some people even naming it, like naming their inner critic. So like give it a name as well. Have fun with it.
Yeah, having like auntie speaking now. Do I want to listen to that or not? Like, yeah. So I think that will be amazing way to start shifting the inner critic's voice and like claiming your own power as well, because you have the choice who you listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have heard something that you have some exciting things coming this spring, and you have a retreat coming. So would you like to tell more about that, and also like how people can find you if they want to now to get more support on their path? Like just sharing a little bit how they can find you, and also I really would love to hear a little bit more about your retreat because it sounded fabulous.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. It'll be the first time I'm bringing a retreat to Menorca, so a beautiful island in the Mediterranean, and we'll be staying in a country farmhouse there, and it'll be a small, intimate retreat, only 7 people who will be able to join this. So spaces are limited, and we'll be looking at everything from how to manage emotions anytime, anywhere, tips and tools, how to deal with that. And then also I'll be going in and talking about the inner critic in depth, so specific tools and techniques. And we'll be looking at the root cause of the inner critic, because quite often the inner critic repeats things but in the form of a belief, a limiting belief that we learned when we were young. So if it says if every time we look in the mirror and we hear the inner critic saying, "I'm ugly," for example, then when did we first decide that? On the retreat, we're gonna go into that in depth and really let go of those core limiting beliefs. And so yeah, it's a transformational weekend, giving you tools and tips to take forward into your life that you can use for the rest of your life and whenever you wish to use them. So I'm super excited about it. There'll be lots of lovely food and hopefully lots of sunshine and lots of energy sleeping techniques there. So yeah, there will be information on my website, www.emmabradford.net.
Okay.
There's more information on one-on-one coaching sessions there as well. So everything's on there.
That's fantastic. I will also add it to the comments when I post this link out so people can easily click to your website and find more about this beautiful, beautiful retreat. And that will be so wonderful. And I'm so grateful you took time out from your busy schedule to attend this interview. And it was so lovely to have you here. So hopefully, thank you. And hopefully all the listeners have got great tips and tools how you can start taking better care of yourself, and also like shifting the conversations you have with the inner critic, because you have the power who you listen to, and you have the power to renew yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes. So this was Katja from Karma Cleanse, and it was a pleasure to have you here today. And stay tuned for new episodes. Thank you so much, and bye for now.